Hello, everyone, and welcome to an in-between episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I am kind of your host, not usually your host, but I'm here today. I'm leading the show. Anthony and Madison. This was your idea to do, so you're kind of the host too. But somehow
Yeah,
I'm
I
the
guess
one
so.
talking first.
Well, I don't think we really planned on being in the final on Monday, nor did we know it was going to be on Monday. I think during the pod last week, I was like, "Is the final next week?" And you guys are like, "No, it's in May."
That's what I could have
So,
sworn it was. Like, yeah,
yeah, and then the announcer was like, "All right, Milan Inter Derby on Monday," and I was like, "I think we're gonna have to do a quick preview of the game because like we can't not preview the Derby." So
yeah,
here we
exactly.
are.
Yeah, that definitely caught me off guard. I was at a bar with Badair, a few other people, some Twitter famous folk who I won't name here for security purposes. But yeah, they were all shocked to hear it was Monday. So somehow no one knew, which made me feel better because I was like, oh shit, here we go. I thought I was
hmm
on top of this, but I guess not. But yeah, I mean, we beat Juventus in Conceição's first game, so I guess we'll just dive into that. Um,
Before we start, I want to make sure everyone knows I got Maldini stuff behind me. AJ hates Maldini, so in the comments, don't rag on me for Maldini, okay?
Hey, I have a Maldini jersey on my wall too, right here. It's just out of frame because everyone needs to see Taylor Swift instead. So,
Right.
um, anyways, yeah. So Conceição's first game as manager, we thought he might not be on the sideline because he had a fever, and then he showed up anyways. There were a few players that we found out this morning also had fever, namely Tammy Abraham and Jimenez, which is crazy considering the game Jimenez had. He was probably the best player in our first half,
hmm
but yeah, first half honestly not a good game.
No,
It,
it was pretty boring. Here's the thing: he was hired on what Monday, Tuesday, maybe Sunday. I don't remember.
yeah,
It
it
seems
was
like it's
Monday.
been a hell of a week. Um, but like he wasn't gonna get his tactics across, right?
Yeah.
Um, But, it looked like the same old Milan kinda lackluster, didn't, know what to do when we had the ball. It was just a pretty overall boring, typical Milan Juve game.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to play to a 0-0 draw, but we can't because, you know, it's not a season game. It was gonna go to PKs, so someone had to break the deadlock, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was Yildiz, who we should point out was not expected to play. He came in for a guy named in the starting lineup, which was Conceição's son, who injured himself in warm-ups, ironically. So our coach's son was supposed to be starting. He gets hurt, and the guy who replaces him scores a goal. Pretty much thanks to Teo Hernandez. The pass went right through Teo's legs. It was awful defending from him. He has not had a good season. And then Yildiz shot it near post, and Mignon gets a touch to it, but it still
It
goes
was
through.
a I feel like the goals that we've conceded this year have been rockets, and
Yeah,
that shot was a rocket.
it was. I go back and forth on if I think Mignon can do better, right? Because you get a hand to it, you should be able to
Right.
stop it, but also I doubt my fingers are stopping a ball coming at you that fast. I mean, it was pretty
Yeah, I'm
close,
not
pretty
going for
heavy.
that. I'm just like, "Yeah, you can take
Nah,
that."
exactly. So 1-0 down in the 21st minute, and it seemed like that was just going to be kind of the story. In
Yeah.
the first half, looking at the stats here, we had 2 shots, 0 on target, and literally that was it. Like there's nothing else to it. Juventus had 2 shots on target, 1 big chance. Obviously, that was the one they scored. Um, Fouls were about even, 8-4. There was not much happening. I mean, I'm looking at it
No.
now. They had 1 yellow card, but that was it. Everything else is pretty basic, pretty boring. Should also mention Christian Pulisic came back in the starting 11, played the full 90.
Yep.
That was good, and then I guess we'll move
He
into
looked
the second
okay. He
half.
didn't, like, look great, but he looked
Yeah, I agree. I
decent.
agree. And
We're not
Benacer
practicing
as
for a
well.
while. Yep.
Um, and I'm seeing a lot of hate for Benacer, and I understand why because he had a horrible game. Let's be honest. But if you watch what he was doing, he was making the right decisions. He just was placing the passes poorly. Like it was doing what
He's
he
not in
used to do.
form.
Exactly. You could just tell it's rust. His mind is there. He could see it. His body's just not 100% yet, and that's
Mhm.
fine. It'll come with time. But he had to come off, and he did pretty early on, right? Was it right at the second half started? So 54th minute. Sorry, I got the
Yeah,
stats on
I'll
the
say
screen.
I feel like I saw him in the second half, but
Yeah, which I don't know how I feel about that because if you're gonna bring someone on 4 minutes into the second half or 5 minutes, why not just bring him on at halftime and not
yeah.
waste the substitution window? But maybe he didn't know he was gonna do it, and then those first few minutes, because Benacer did have a few key giveaways early on in the second half that led to chances. Gabia had a big save. He wasn't on at the time, so this one was Tamori then. And I think Emerson actually had a great save as well on the line or near it. Um, just trying to rack my brain here on all the things that happened. But during the halftime team talk, it came out afterwards that Conceição said he was angry with everyone, that he wasn't going to kiss anyone, wasn't going to tell anyone that they could do better. He was just going to tell them what they need to do instead, and um, seemed to get the fire lit under them because the second half was a totally different game.
It
Not
was.
that we were great by any means, but we scored.
We
We
looked like
came
we
back.
wanted to win.
Yeah, exactly. We tried, and it goes back to what Conceição said in his very first press conference: is he doesn't care how you win as long as you win. And I mean, nothing embodies that more than a really poorly taken penalty that still goes in and an own
Mhm.
goal, right? If that's how you win a game, doesn't matter how you win as long as you win it. Um,
But
so then I guess yeah, go ahead.
Pooley's PK was also a rocket. Like, it's hard to
Yeah,
s it was right at the goalie, but it's also hard to save those, you
yeah. I
know,
mean, he
like,
again, he got a hand to it. So to me, I'm like, if
unless
you touch it, you should save it. But I get what you're saying.
I if you get a hand, you should be deflecting it, right?
Yeah,
But that's, like, if it's, like, near post. I feel like if it's where Pooley shot it, you should be body, you know? But he dove late,
yeah.
and that's and, it's a fucking rocket. I honestly thought it went top shelf until the replay, and I was like, "Oh, that was a horrible
I
penalty shot."
I didn't think it went in at first. Like
Oh,
I
really?
saw it hit his hand and I saw it go up, and just the reaction of the people in the bar was very like muted. And on TV, it didn't look like the players were immediately running and jumping. So I thought, oh, he saved it, it went over. So there was just like a few second delay between everyone's eyes and their brain, I guess. And
Yeah.
then we're like, oh shit,
Steph
that went
goes,
in.
"Horrible PK," and I was like, "Oh, fuck, we missed," because 'cause they're always, like, 5, 10 seconds ahead,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it went in. I was like, "That was great. What is he talking about?"
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was good. Obviously, we were happy to see Christian get back on the score sheet. That's funny is that's our first penalty we've been awarded since the incident where we had
Fiorentina,
two and he
yeah.
didn't get take any, and he was deemed the penalty taker. And then I thought, oh no, new manager,
New
who's the
coach.
penalty taker? What if it's not him? But that's 9 for 9 in Christian's career, I believe. So he's never
Yep.
missed a penalty, which is awesome. I can't wrap my brain around why he wasn't the taker earlier in the season, but
I wonder how many of those are against Mexico. At least
yeah,
half.
I think there were only like 2 or 3 that were club penalties. The rest
Yeah.
were all country, so probably a lot against Mexico. Um, then 4 minutes later, the funniest own goal I've ever seen in my life happens. Musa
I was
running
so
down the
happy.
flank. Oh, we all jumped up and down. Everyone. It was ridiculous. Musa goes for a cross. It's a really bad cross. It hits the very first defender, and just because of the positioning of Di Gregorio, how far off his line he couldn't get to the ball in time and
Right.
goal. And then that was it. We won. And there was not much after that. There was I think a few substitutions. It was nice to see people come back on. Gabia obviously got back on. Terriciano came on for Emerson, which was interesting seeing him as right back. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. Obviously, Tammy came on for Alex Mendes, who we found out had the flu. Ironic, the two guys with flus alternated for each other. Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, good performance.
Yeah, I mean, we won, right? Not every win is gonna be pretty. Not every win you're gonna be like a world beating team.
Yeah.
The important part is that we won. I think that, none of us were gonna be disappointed if we lost because it was gonna give us an extra week of training with Conceição.
Mhm.
But, any chance we get to play in a final against Inter, playing against Inter makes it a little more special if we win. It makes it worse if we lose. Um, but I always love a good derby. So
I haven't looked forward to the Derby in a while because we just keep getting smoked, but, we did win it this year, so I am excited, and I think it's actually in our favor because no one knows what's going to happen with Conceição.
Mhm.
They don't know what players are going to be on there. They don't know how we're going to play. They don't know what the mentality is going to be. Everything's totally different. Not to mention it's in Saudi Arabia, so maybe the weather is a bit warmer than they're used to. I know it's obviously still winter.
They were all wearing jackets.
Oh, I guess that's true. Because they did play late. It was like 10 p.m. local time or something like that.
Yeah, something just crashed down upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for that face.
Do you need to go check on that or?
No, I think I'm okay. I didn't hear
Okay,
any screaming.
there you go. Tops and flops.
I'm gonna say Pulisic because he scored the penalty.
Fair. I'm gonna give it to Tamori. I think it's nice that he finally got back in the lineup. Haven't seen him in a while. A couple days ago, he was like a foot and a half out the door on his way to Juventus. Conceição comes in and says, "No, I want to see every player before anyone leaves." Sees Tamori and came up big with a few very critical saves. I thought he had a good game, so I'm gonna give him my top. For flop, I gotta give it to Teo. It's his fault for the first goal. He missed a point blank sitter. Um, but I will say I did like after the match, Benacer was giving a team talk, hyping everyone up. They're all in a circle, arms around each other. And who's got his arms over Teo? Conceição. So I like that. That's good management. That says like, look, you're not out because you made a mistake. You showed the right mentality, and I think that's going to help him because he needs it. You got to baby these guys a
Mhm.
little bit. So, but Teo's my flop for this match. Who's yours?
I think Teo would be a good one. I'll go with Teo as well. I was trying to look, and Teo's the only one who like blatantly like from the goal. So
Yeah.
everyone else, like, there's other positives. So
Yeah. All right. Well, and now we have a Super Cup final against Inter, as we've obviously alluded to and blatantly said. Happens on Monday, January 6th. Hopefully, the only. Never mind. I'm not going to make any jokes. I was. Uh,
what?
no, I was just going to make a joke about the date. But it's happening January
Oh,
6th, and we have some players that are out. Liao is confirmed to be on the bench, so that'll be interesting. He might have 30 minutes, might have 60. That hasn't been confirmed yet. If he has 60, it's probably only going to play 30 anyways, because I don't know if this goes to extra time. It might go straight to penalties. It might have extra time because it's a final. But if Liao's got 60 minutes or 30, I wouldn't bring him on till the 60th.
hmm
I would save him. I think he's a breath of fresh air off the bench, especially right now. Like I said, it's a final. It's good. On Inter side, the biggest injury, Marcus Thuram, out injured this morning, so he's not going to play. They confirmed that. Pavard and Iturbi, they've been out. They'll be back halfway through the month here, and then the rest of them on our side, Loftus Cheek still doubtful. Okafor, he's out. Florenzi, you might as well forget he's even on the team. He's never coming back. And Chukwueze should be back this month, but probably not for this game. In fact, I'd guarantee it. As far as form, neither team has lost in their last five. But don't let that fool you. We had two draws and we've scored 6 goals. They've scored 15 goals in their last five and conceded 0. So they're definitely coming in a lot hotter than us. No surprise there. Inter's the better team in general. Obviously, we won the most recent game against them, but what are your thoughts?
I wonder if Pulisic is going to start because he's coming off of an injury. 2 games in 3 days is a lot.
Hmm.
I guess 2 games in 4 days because today's Saturday.
Yeah, but he
Um,
did get a full 90, which
he did get a full 90, which is a good sign, right? We
good
don't know
thing, but
like
also
what
you're
was
right.
wrong
It
with
could wear
his
him out.
ankle. It could have
Yeah,
just been like a little tweak. Um, I'm not optimistic.
you're not.
My no, I'm not
Oh yeah,
optimistic.
yeah, no, me
It's
either.
but I am hopeful. Like if you don't have any hope and you're hurt, then what's the point of watching the game? So
Yeah,
um, I don't know. I'm gonna say 2-0 Inter. Honestly,
something tells me we win it. I don't know
okay.
why. I think it's the new manager effect. I think it's my excitement going up from winning that dog shit game against Juventus. We didn't do anything that made me think, yeah, we got this. We're the better team. But that's how I felt going into the Derby this season, anyways. In September, we were coming off of 2 draws and I think a loss. I think we had 0 wins at that point in the season, and then we somehow beat Inter, the defending champions, and it's still their only loss of the season. So they have two, one in the Champions League against Leverkusen, but in the league, we're the only people to beat them this season, which is interesting. I don't know, man. I think it'll be.
I think it's gonna be a good game, but typically if we score first, we're gonna win. But typically when Inter score first, they start to run away.
Yeah,
Um,
and I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. One thing to consider, though, they're not in their team itself is not really in good form. Yes, they're winning by big margins, but you look at the goal scorers, it's not Lautaro Martinez. He's had a horrible season. Thuram's out, who was a big scorer. You got Dumfries, who scored both goals in the Atalanta game, so you could almost guarantee he's not going to do anything because he scores once every 8 games. It's a lot of mixed bag goal scorers for Inter right now, which is strange. I'm just pulling up their squad to see who's been putting them away right now. I mean, Taremi, I don't think he even has a goal. He does not, and he probably will start next to Martinez. Arnautovic doesn't have one. Yeah, I mean they don't. It's going to be the midfielders you got to watch out for. It's going to be the Çalhanoğlu's. It's going to be the Mkhitaryan's, the Barellas, the Fratesi's. Those are the guys that I would watch out for. But something tells me, man, that I think we got this one. I think we got this one. I really do. And I can't give you any real insight as to why. I could feel it.
I mean, if he's got 19 or 12 goals and he's not playing, that's a huge,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, he's their top goal scorer, I believe.
I don't know who their third place striker is.
It would be Arnautovic or Taremi. Taremi typically comes on, but
Okay.
he's only got one assist this season. He hasn't done anything else. So looking at their player stats here, top goal scorer, Thuram at 12. Second is Martinez at 6, who hasn't scored in forever. And then Hakan at 4. It's literally just all the midfielders. DeMarco obviously is not a midfielder, but
Will be
DeMarco,
Arnautovic who scores against us, by the way,
I hope
because he hasn't scored all season.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, Barella's their best player, regardless of what Fabmom's ratings are. I think that's the guy. If you could shut him down, we're good. And Benacer might be able to do that. If this is the game that it clicks now that he had a few minutes under his legs, I'm predicting another 2-1 win.
Okay. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet your life savings on it, but
No, I wouldn't. But I did bet $5 we'd win the Super Cup as soon as Fonseca got sacked. So I'm running with it, and I'm halfway there. So
there we go.
It doesn't pay much, but hey, I did it. We do have one question about the Super Cup coming from the Discord. So this question is from history teacher Steve. He said he's curious how much we care about the Super Cup. If we win, he'll be happy. If we lose, he'll pretend not to care and call it stupid. And Steve, that's the exact right mentality. This is only a real trophy if we win it. It's a fake loser trophy that no one cares about if we lose. So that's that.
It's kind of like preseason cups. Like Everton won the Florida Cup 3-4 years ago, and we won a trophy, so I count it. I don't know how. I think we played like one game and we won or something. If we lost, it wouldn't have existed.
Yeah. Trophy Berlusconi, same thing. It's a one-off match against Monza to end preseason. We've always won it. We've never lost it, but I promise you, if we do lose it, doesn't matter. But when we win, that's the first trophy lift of the season every year.
Yep.
And that's it. So that was a special little midweek preview, or I should have said midweek. I don't know what this is, but in between episodes, since we did a main episode on Monday, we did a quiz on Thursday, we did a bonus on Friday, and now we did a 0.5 episode on Saturday, and another main on Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday because of the game. So we'll be back. Ollie will be back, and that's it. Catch you guys in a few days.
Gol! Ancora Teo! È una meraviglia! Il gol di Teo Hernandez da un'area all'altra! È una meraviglia! Senti il mio cuore!